Attendez le micro, s'il vous plaît.
你好，导演。想请问导演，就是怎么样找到张杨洋跟李凯莉两位这么优秀的小演员，还有如何指导他们来演这部电影？谢谢。
Maybe I should translate the question. The question goes like, how did I find the young actors and how did I train them to be actors? I do this a lot. 我常常每一部戏大概都有一些角色是 well I do this in Chinese first and then I translate it myself.
Maybe you can do it in English. Oh, there is no translation from the Chinese.
Yes, only Français and English.
Mhm.
Yes, and 我先Okay, let's make it a rule. Whatever asks. I only speak Chinese and English, so anything else it have to be translated to me. But if the question is posed in English, then I'll answer in English first, and then if it's posed in Chinese, I'll answer in Chinese first. Okay. 我每一部戏都有因为很多角色不见得有演员能够适合，所以说或者基本上没有经验的演员能够配合那个角色，所以每一次大概都会有训练演员的这个过程，所以这个过程对我来讲是每次都一样，所以这次也是一样。There always be characters that, for instance, the young actors like them, it's not available, readily available. I have to train them. I have to audition and train them. So this is basically for me, it's a regular process. Yeah.
Maybe I would like to ask a question to the two young actors. How much they like to be trained?
He said it's okay. 然后呢？就这样了哈。那 Kelly。有没有？
就是练成 跟电影里面角色的一样。
And she said she tried to be as close to the character she plays as possible. Yes.
Oui.
Edward. Okay. Edward, Patrick, and Gavin in Chicago. Your previous two features, Mahjong and Confusion, dealt with very particular kind of interesting kind of social comedies and also very sort of interesting examination of kind of contemporary Taipei. And then Brighter Summer Day dealt with a sort of interesting chapter in the sort of formation of popular culture and historical culture in Taiwan. What was, if you could talk some about the genesis of this project and how it relates both to the preceding films and how your own kind of sense of what interests you and what, as a filmmaker and as a man of culture and history, and how you wanted to approach this particular work.
Okay, this film actually, the story I had it in my mind for a long time, quite a while ago. But I knew I needed to be let it sit a little bit, like perhaps especially it takes a little time to let it simmer and let it settle, and so it took about 15 years altogether. I just put it in put it on the shelf, so to speak. And so by the time I need to do it, it came to me quite fast, and completed the story in about 2 weeks. And the thing about this film, I think, as I said in the press book, I just wanted to do something very simple, as simple as possible, but that's something you know, I demanded myself to do, and then and I think this is not really not reflecting what's happening in Taiwan or anything. For instance, the high-tech situation is pretty much Taiwan is now is a very, very high-tech. You know, very quickly all the manufacturing is gone into China, and so what's left in Taiwan is very much technology. And the guy in the middle of all this, the central character, the father, pretty much he's involved in that. And what's I think one of the central theme in the films really, you know, will you dare to try something new? You know, that's one of the things that challenges every one of us. I think that's why I feel that that's a very simple subject, which so we're always challenged with that kind of simple thing. If we can meet that, maybe we can. We all had the similar experience, and so that's what this film basically about, and I hope this. But it's of course, yeah, I know it's once you step into it, it's pretty much a wide scope of what's happening in life from birth to death, and so I'm glad that that I did it, and hope you like it.
So you have to
不好
work
意思，
again.
还是想要请导演再谈一谈，怎么样找到这2位演员的？谢谢。
The question still, I think he still wants to know how I find these two actors. The boy, I had originally the story was written for a 10-year-old boy and a 15-year-old girl, and then I had the workshop, acting workshop for young actors. I auditioned a whole bunch of them, put them together, and then it turned out that Kelly and Jonathan were the most was most impressed with their performance. And it happened that Jonathan was only 7 years old then, and Kelly was 13, which was much younger than I thought. So I struggled a bit because I really wanted to select these two, but and I was worried a bit if I picked them, they might not understand the maturity of the materials I asked them to do. So I took a chance, and pretty soon after shooting, I realized that paid off, and I was glad I took the chance, and they were just so good. I was just so happy that, especially that what they I was lucky. 我翻译成中文，就我基本上其实那个选演员的过程其实都是蛮规律的，可是可是选这个演员来了以后，发现因为原来角色写的是10岁跟10岁小男孩跟15岁的那个少女，结果发现表现的最好是一个7岁的小男孩跟12岁那个时候12岁的那个小女孩。我那个时候选他们的时候，自己有一点担忧，因为怕说故事里面内容的他们也许太年轻不了解。就后来开始工作以后，发现我冒的险是对的，所以我很高兴。谢谢 ，Thank you。
我是台湾大晨报，我想请问导演哦，就是说戏里面对于亚洲的金融风暴，对于3代同堂之间，对于随役中年男人的危机哦，那有人说，就是说导演在拍戏的过程其实都会有一些部分是加入自己的一些想法。那不晓得导演是有中年危机的感想吗？还有他对于那个爱情跟亲情的琢磨一些哦，你能不能谈谈，就说这部片您主要想要表达什么样的主题？谢谢。
Okay, the question, geez, a long question. The question is whether it's about the Asian finance crisis the last few years, and also there's about midlife crisis, which I seem to be in that situation, and from what she heard, that I used to include a lot of my personal experiences into my stories. I think that let's answer the last one first, then hope I don't forget all the questions. What was the last one?
The personal experience.
Yeah. Well, actually, I don't do personal experiences much as I think I try not to, and I try to do the things I feel universal. So basically, that's perhaps more of my style than just telling my personal stories. About midlife crisis, it's not really about midlife crisis. It's a crisis of all lives. Every age, you know, even a kid 8 years old, it's got crisis all the time. I think if talking about my personal life, I think I had more crisis when I was a kid like his age than now. So that's not really just about midlife crisis. And if we're honest to ourselves, I think we have crisis every day. Just like today, I try to check in a hotel. I'm still not checking in the hotel. I don't know where my bags are, and I don't know when I can take a shower next time. And I haven't showered for the last 48 hours. I'm sorry. So that's the crisis I think we all face every day. You know, that's and about I think Asian financial crisis. I think the crisis is happening all the time if we look at it, because life I don't think just sit there just like, you know, what you're told, you know, just like what happened to Tintin. You know, it's just you know, life is not like that. We just have to all have our own ideas of what life is, I guess. You know, then I think that's how we enjoy films. It's just like the boy in the film says. You know, that's why we all come to Cannes to see films. Okay, no, 我需要解释翻译吗 ？OK， 我翻那是 Chinese part 。基本上我并不觉得我的电影是讲我自己的事情，因为我通常我找的那个题材多半是我希望是能够得到很多人的共鸣，然后是很共通性的话题。我想在我以前的电影这个其实是蛮清楚的。另外是关于就中年危机的问题，我觉得这个电影并不是说中年危机，而是每一个年龄都有他的危机。就譬如像电影里面的小朋友，我看小朋友的危机可能比中年人危机还要严重啊！甚至我会觉得我小时候我的危机是每天都很严重的啊！所以说这个并不见得是那个只是在中年的这个问题。那另外就是亚洲金融危机，还有就是这个我想整个亚洲基本上是一直在成长，也是一直在所以在中间发生了很多事情，我想这都是很自然的现象。这样的，基本上我的回答是这样子的，谢谢。
导演你好。我是台湾中国时报黄文君。我想请问的问题是给杨洋的，你在演这个戏的时候最好玩的事情是什么？最困难的又是什么？
This is to Jonathan. What's the funniest thing, or the things that are most fun when you're doing the film, and what's the most difficult thing in doing the film?
在圆山饭店那个。
哦，圆山饭店哪一个？哦，吃气球那个。他最好玩的是圆山饭店那个。He says the fun he had the most in shooting film is the scene where he had to revenge the big girls by bursting the balloon in after the wedding. 最困难的是什么 ？What's the most difficult?
就是在那个
Apparently it was easy. I mean.
The most difficult one is he tried to aim the water bomb at the teacher. Yeah, 丢水球那个炸训导主任那个他是最难的。
Bernard Bessekic of the French press agency. I believe this film was part of a trilogy called the Y2K project. Could you just say a little bit about that? And have you seen the Stanley Kwan film Island Tales?
I think I will answer the last one. The other part, perhaps the producer knows more than I do. Yes, I've seen Stanley's film. I like it very much. Yes.
Well, regarding Y2K, yes, you are right. At the beginning, Y2K project is making 3 films with 3 filmmakers, which is not omnibus, which is 3 separate features. One is with Edward Yam, one is with Stanley Kwan, Hong Kong, the other one is with Shinji Iwai, Japan. So at the beginning, the producer, Kawai, and then Shinji Iwai went to Taipei for the promotion of his film, Swallowtail Butterfly. At that time, they met with Edward, and then they're talking about how we could cooperate with Asian filmmakers, get together, exchange their know-how, their experience, and their financing source, human resource. And then they came up to the idea that would be a great idea because in Asia at this moment, it is quite tough situation for each country to make an independent film. So if we get together in Asia as a one region to make a film and exchanging our resource, human and then human resources, financial resources, and then know-how, our experiences, maybe we could targeting not only for our each country, but also all Asian territory, but also international film like that. So we started this project. We have been working like over 2.5 years. And then, but as you know, we already in Y2K now. And then, as you mentioned, Stanley finished his film first, which we went to Berlin Film Festival competition. And then Edward was finished his film, we brought to the Cannes. And unfortunately, Iwai is struggling his script now, but so we are, trying to keep up with this structure to cooperate with Asian filmmaker, exchanging our resources. But at this moment, so we call now not Y2K, but please think this is some new form to producing a film in Asia as a one region.
Jeff Ressner with Time Magazine. This film runs close to 3 hours. I was wondering if this is the way it will be shown when it's released theatrically, and if there was any thoughts to making it longer, making it shorter. Was time any consideration in terms of your cutting the film?
The best form of the film is what it is right now. That's my honest opinion. And whether it's going to be cut, I kind of doubt it at this moment.
I would like to ask Edward Young a question about the fact that he worked a long time in computers and so on, and in the film the relationship between the computer area and the feelings on the one hand, and also the role played by the character of Ota and the relation between Japan and Taiwan.
I think high tech is in everyone's is bombarding everyone right now. That's no way out. So might as well just face it. And I'm kind of lucky that I was a computer guy by training in the beginning, and I could have been billionaires now, but I chose to have fun making films. So, but I think this high-tech thing is really the most immediate thing that's changing everyone's life. So we might as well look at it straight in the face, and we make all the adjustments as when we need to. And I think film, of course, is going to be affected, and also all kinds of art forms going to be affected. And especially I think with the distribution. I think the distribution is really the what's going to be affected the most. And for as we were discussing this at the panel forum before Cannes Festival started, the 2 days ahead of the starting of the festival, Le Monde and the festival, we had this forum and discussion panel for 2 days, and we were talking about what's going to happen because most of the people invited were filmmakers, and I think the spirit was quite upbeat because, as I said in the forum, technology is always an ally to whoever is creative, because we always need a better tool to explore the unknown. That's why I think the worry, because we deal with the unknown all the time, and we're used to worries, but this unknown is not used to. For a lot of people, they're not used to this unknown or the unknown they're facing, especially for the people who are not as creative, or they work mainly on based on their past experiences or past conventional way of doing things, which they think that's a track record that they can follow, or they can make a good looking business plan on. So basically, that's what's happening. And I think in the future, the most important changes probably is not going to really affect the creativity. The creativity will always welcome new tools, but I think distribution will have a problem, because if you think in terms of what's happening in the past, that I think that's you probably be surprised at, because you will never be able to understand what's coming up, and what's coming up is all exciting. I'm all excited, and I think there's a lot of changes going to happen, and a lot of changes probably will take place, and I think we're already witnessing a lot of these things right here in Cannes, and for instance, the question you just had, whether 2 hours 50 minutes is too long. I mean, hey, there are a bunch of films that are 3 hours 30 minutes, 4 hours. Even in the mainstream Hollywood products. I think to me, it's not really how long the film is, or it's a work or not. It basically, if it's a good film, it's perhaps 10 minutes. It's a very good film. It can be 10 hours. I think technology in the future is not gonna be those 90-minute, 120-minute thing. Because 90 minutes, 120 minutes, very much. We were just joking at lunch that it's probably set up by this guy. The projection is he had to go to the toilet every 2 hours. So that's the kind of thing. But in the future, this guy don't have to go to the toilet. He can go to the toilet all the time, and he can.
But the audience.
Yeah. well, I think if a thing is interesting enough, or you can pause, or you can do. And I think even if I put it this way, it's still a very conventional way of thinking. By the time high tech hits us, that even the narratives may not be even just one linear narratives. It could be parallel, could be all kinds of things. Could be all kinds of things happening at the same time in very different media. So that's the kind of thing we could never even imagine what's going to happen, because they never had any thing happen like this in the past. And so that's why I said, for instance, Sony, I think Sony just about a month ago, or a couple of months ago, they started a Sony.com a music site where you can download music for 340 yen. This is true. I saw exactly what it says on the website. It says 340 yen, you get to download a song, any song that belongs to Sony. But I just think, why 340 yen? That's almost $3.50, US dollars, and each album only costs what, But as soon as you think of albums or CDs, 10 songs, this is conventional. Your thinking is conventional. So if you think it's 340 yen a song, that's conventional thinking. It's not website thinking. So I think Stephen King is much more smarter, and he made his novel $2.50 a hit, so he gets 500,000 hit the first day. So that's what we'll be looking at. So that's what the guy NJ and those guys looking at. And if you're conventional, you might not be able to even think so get online and get ready.
Yes.
导演您好，我是《明日报》的记者从台湾来的。那我想请问一下，导演连这几部电影都是以台北的人为故事的主角，那有没有想到过说离开台北拍一部不是台北人的故事这样子？
Okay, the question, she's from Tea Times, which is the hottest web newspaper in Taiwan. Okay, and the question is all my films have been about people living in Taipei, or would I do another film with people not living in Taipei? The answer is, of course, I a lot of times the films, when you consider whether it makes economic sense to produce a certain place, I think right around where you live is that makes the best economic sense. So that's what happened. So of course in the future there will be a lot of different things. As I said, I would always try something different every time. 我的回答是就是因为选择在台北的故事，是因为对制作来讲是最符合经济原理的，所以通常我是越拍越靠近那个台北，主要是一个经济原理的问题。就当然以后就是那个做不是台北的故事也是非常可能的，因为我每次都是希望做我以前没有做过的事情。That's it.
Hi, I'm Jean-Luc Vactozen from Le Figaro. You just spoke about high technology in our society, internet, and so on. And I would like to know what is the position of human being in this society and in the future? What is our point of view about that?
Human being in the society? Oh, I think human beings will be more human than perhaps in the past, because there's so many new things available, and also so many information are available to the new human, and of course you will create new problems, just like any time in history. I think humans always the center, always at the center. We decide what to do, and we have to, another things. We have to be responsible for what we are doing. I think that's perhaps something we all have forgotten. That if we keep remembering that, probably we'll make every experience a good one. Yes.
In the development of the script, was the coma of the grandmother one of the starting points of the script, and as being first a thread for the story, and also to condition the reactions of everybody, to create a kind of a catalyst of reaction?
Yes, this is about 15 years ago when someone I know his father's got hit by a car and went in a coma. That was the beginning of the story. That I had this idea of writing a story like this, and what happened was this about 20 years ago. I was working for a Hong Kong film movie company, and I was working for a director who I always call him my teacher or my mentor, who is Po Chi Leong. In Hong Kong, he basically started the Hong Kong New Wave. I was writing a story for him. That I made an assumption that the story is about a girl got hit by a car, went into a coma, and she's half dead and half alive. So we don't know where her spirit was at the time. So she kind of just drifting around. That was the story I was writing. And then they didn't use the script because the company thought it was too complicated, it was too philosophical, and so they decided the girl just be a ghost instead of something in between. So I kind of shelved that idea till a friend's father was hit by a car in a coma. And I really, looked at someone really in a coma. At the time I was writing that script, about a girl, I haven't seen the person in coma or so that was a time that really gave me a lot of impact, and because I really realized there's something between life and death, and that was very interesting. And the doctors telling us, treat him like normal people, talk to him, take him out, even though you don't know whether he sees things or he smells things or hear things. It's just like, so to me that was such a strong impact. That's where the story originated. So I took down some notes, and I knew I was too young at the time to treat a story like this. So that's why I let it sit in the drawer for so many years until this project came along, and I proposed it, and everyone liked it and went ahead. And then the other thing I like to add is that when we decided to go ahead with this project, to me there's one very crucial thing was really who's going to be the actor to lead it, to do this central role, because it's a very, very demanding thing. And in my mind, there was only one guy who could do it, and this guy, no one even thought that he was an actor, because I know him so well, and I worked with him in the past, and he was such a well-known writer and also a director himself, and also he was such a popular celebrity in Taiwan. And so I called Mr. Wu, and I said, okay, I have this film to do, and if you don't take the leading role, I probably won't develop it, because I know nobody's gonna be able to play the part. So, and he loved it, and he said, yeah, he liked to do it. So that's another thing that's pretty decisive of the go ahead of this project. Yes.
Question.
Wu Kunyong, journalist for the Zhoukan Weekly of Hong Kong. My question will be for the two young actors. 丁丁跟杨洋，我想各问你们一个问题，一个是杨洋在这个电影里面，对不起，我应该先问的是丁丁，就在这个电影里面，这个角色有一次初恋，那在这个电影里面，你的表现是怎么样去诠释的？你是怎么去想象的？跟你自己的经验，或者是跟导演的指导是怎么样的关系？另外就是对我先第二个问题是杨洋，你觉得导演教你说的话你都懂吗
？The question is to the children. First to Ting. In the film, there's a first experience of first love. How do you react to what you're demanded to act? And the second question is to Yang, and the question was whether he understood what the director asked him to do. So let's hear from Ting first.
大部分都是从导演那边的指导才学来的这样子，然后
most of it is from the instruction from the director, and then I learned what was happening. Go ahead. Yeah, 再继续。
后来就是有一点比较说知道应该怎么去做的时候，就比较会进入那个状况这样子。
Later, I understood how it is done. Then I can get into it myself much better. That's it. Okay, 杨洋，你拍戏的时候懂我讲的，你都懂吗？ Yeah, he's very smart. He said he understood everything. You know how smart this guy is. Sometimes, and very soon, about a week into shooting, he knows where the cameras should be. You know, he knows this takes no good because there's some funny sound somewhere, so that the sound recording shouldn't be good. That's which is true. You know, he about 10 days in the shooting, he knows he can be a director. So that's what happened.
I would like to ask a question to the two producers about, you talk about the financing of the film. Of course, there are new possibilities between several Asian countries to Far Eastern countries to produce films. But what are the market possibilities for these films, and which country are ahead, if there is any, in terms of having a film buff audience? Or
inside Asia?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, Shinya Kawai just saying that he thinks maybe Korea and Hong Kong. Yeah, Korea and Hong Kong, because actually the previous film he has been produced, it has been released in Korea, and then well, in very special occasion, because Korean government going to open up their market for Japanese film, but it did make a tremendous success. And then also Hong Kong, which also through the experience of this production with Stanley Kwan, we did work with Hong Kongese staff and then Hong Kong film industry people, and somehow we both agree, we find somehow Hong Kong film industry is much advanced than Japanese in a kind of structural way. They can have a lot of access to the international market closer than Japanese market. So we think Korea and Hong Kong is some of the market which is somehow advanced than Japan.
Any more question? Yes?
不好意思，想要再请问导演，这一次是一个跨国合作的电影，你对跨国的拍片未来有没有什么自己的看法？还有，可不可以请你谈谈台湾电影未来的发展怎么样？谢谢。
Heavy question. The question is, this project's been a cross-national project, and how I feel, how's the experience, and then the second question was, what's my view, the future of collaboration of many countries in the region, right? The second question is how do I look at the future of Taiwan cinema? Well, I think that maybe there's only actually there's only one answer to this, and I think before technology really took the center stage, a lot of things in the last 20 years had been changing rather quickly. Simply, I think the conventional way of thinking didn't recognize that. I think, luckily, people like us, filmmakers, we have to think of something new to survive, and we were I think now looking back, we were much ahead of a lot of people because that's our life and death for us. So even in the 80s, where we realized we need, just like Taiwan's economy, we need to export. We need to raise the quality of our manufacturing process or design process in order to find new markets around the world. That basically is a very fundamental for any business people. So we've had to really turn ourselves into business, and I think we're much more commercial. By practice, and it's not just and then again, distributors, they were really since their success seemed to be rooted in their past success experience. So they I think now looking back, you can see how conservative they are and what kind of vision they had, because they try to repeat what they've done in the past. So I guess we were as filmmakers, we were lucky to work in a condition which is not as wealthy or not as resourceful as Hollywood or other countries, even compared to Hong Kong. Hong Kong, of course, is a free port and has much more flexible practices commercially, and that's why I think we were forced to look further down the field. So I think we're much better prepared in a lot of ways, and so when this co-production became reality, I think it's, to me, actually, now looking back, it's very, very natural, because that's basically the most economical and the most effective way of working, and because the resources are there, and most importantly, I think that the markets are more consolidated now. If I can sell a film in Taipei, I can sell the same film in Tokyo and Seoul and Hong Kong and all the major cities. All these major markets are consolidated, very quickly, and this is true for lots of businesses. For instance, sports. Let's to talk about sports. Who else has a basketball league than the NBA? This is just absurd. You want to start a professional basketball in Taiwan? I mean, you're not going to get any. You might as well, if you have a basketball player, you might as well have him play in the NBA, because that's the only basketball league, in the future, and also it's already the future right now. So in film, it's the same way. I think the regionalization is basically just something you can't avoid, just something just going to happen. So I'm glad that we had very fruitful meetings for about 6 months about how and we have to be very creative, including Mr. Kawai, Ms. Tsukeda, and Stanley, and Mr. Iwai, and we were very creative in our meetings that to build a working model for filmmaking in Asia for the future. So this, I think, films from our working model is basically just a proof that this thing can work, and it'll work not very badly, and so that's what I look at, this regionalization of resources. For instance, now the sound guy, I never work with another sound guy, and this is Mr. Du from Taiwan. He, you take care of it. Yeah, the first film I was involved in, he was also his first film as a sound credit. And now he's working for all kinds of filmmakers. Mr. Wong Kar-wai in Hong Kong, Stanley Kwan in Hong Kong, all the Taiwanese filmmakers, and I'm pretty sure in the future other filmmakers from other countries will come to him, and he'll have sound credits for all those films. And another thing, and we all do our mixing in Bangkok now, All the filmmakers in the region will go to Bangkok for the Dolby sound mixing, because that's the most competitively priced, and they offer the best working condition and the most competitive. Everything is so wonderful in Bangkok. So we all go to Bangkok now. So that's kind of things happening. And if you still think in a very conventional way, what happened to Taiwanese cinema? But there's not, the borders are so much blurred. So much. There's no. I don't think that it makes sense to even talk about national cinema now. But this does not mean that we lost our identity or whatever. In another sense, actually, we have much better identity to work with, because you're allowed to be more creative. You're less dependent upon the misunderstandings or people have some different way of thinking as you do. Now, I think that the situation is only getting better. That's why.
No, just here before. Yes.
OK，导演，我想再请问一下，你到坎城已经几天了？那有去看什么电影吗？还是你最期待看到什么电影呢
？The question was how many days I've been in Cannes, and what did I see any films, and what have I been doing? Well, actually, when you're in Cannes, you're really not yourself. You're run by the schedule that other people has asked you. So basically, I'm just very, very passive. Just listen and listen to my producer and do whatever was lined up for me. So I'm very used to this. That's okay. Oh, basically that's what's happening in Cannes.
杨导演你好，我是台北民生报记者王建宇，能不能请你解释一下这个片子的中英文片名是什么意义？因为我觉得蛮有趣的，谢谢。
Okay. The question is the meaning of the title in English and also in Chinese. He like to have my explanation. This is said in a press brochure. If you have the time to read it, I will repeat it here. And as I said, the film, I just want to do something very simple, just like ones and twos in life, which is very, very simple things about life. And so that's the English title. Was at the very, very beginning. It was a 1 and a 2, and that's where you go before the jazz session. 1 and 2, 1 2. That's so that I don't know would that make any sense. But and also the Chinese titles, I wanted to not the most simple Chinese title, but the second simplest Chinese title. So that's E means one. So 2 ones together. And the 2 ones together is basically the first phrase in the every Chinese dictionary, and under the first character 1. So 1 is only 1 stroke, and so so there in history of human history in Chinese, E is the second simplest title for a film. So that's
Une dernière question.
Yes. Okay.
Une dernière question. Last question. No? It seems it's the end.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you all.